Look at what they've done to this trap. This is a $200 trap, and it's supposed to have 2 wood runners that go the length of the bottom that make handling the traps easier on the rail. These little borers, ocean termites, have eaten the runners right off of them. They've completely ruined this trap. Now we got to take all these traps up, we got to load them all on the boat, we got to bring them all home and put new runners on them and fix them. By the time you factor everything in and the damage of the traps and the cost of the new expensive material runners, we're looking upwards of 10 grand. So we're going to get them all loaded up on the boat, but first we got to haul 350 traps. We're going through 5 traps to a time. We have 5 attached to each buoy. We'll see if we catch anything cool. It'll probably be a fairly slow day for cool catches, but you're guaranteed to see something interesting and probably learn something you didn't know. They're a little dirty. They've been setting for a little while, and once they set for a while, they get grass growing on them. So we're going to dip them in that tank of hot water and clean them off. Couple little redfish. This is actually what we're using for bait. They're caught by commercial fishermen, fish draggers. They'll actually take the fillets off them, sell them for food, and then they'll sell the racks, what's left of the fish, and we'll use that for bait. This one's a big one. These bones they poke you with them, and they hurt for hours. They got some kind of venom in them or something. I don't know what it is, but your hand will throb for hours. Beauty redfish for you. And this is just seaweed. So this is the new style runner that we're switching to get away from the wood. There's a few different modern materials that we're using that the borers can't eat. There's some plastic and some vinyl. These ones are steel on the middle, and they're coated with rubber or a plastic of some kind, and they actually act as weights as well. So they replace the bricks and they replace the runners. Kill 2 birds with 1 stone. They are super expensive. It takes some time to put on, but this is what we're putting on all our new traps. Much better material, headache free, unlike the wood that the borers clean off every year. I'll be happy when all my traps have these on them. I don't know how the old guys used to do it back in the day when the whole trap was made out of wood. It must have been a struggle. We'll show you some examples of what the borers do to wood runners here in a little bit, and actually hopefully show you a borer. They're a weird looking little creature. Nice egger here. She doesn't have a ton of eggs. It's estimated there's about 10,000 eggs per pound. She's a pound and a half, so 15,000 eggs or so. They change color depending on how long they stay on the lobster. So at first they'll be a real dark green, then they'll lighten up right before she drops them. This one has brown eggs. She's got no notch yet, so we're going to give her a notch. That just signifies that she's capable of reproducing, so that way if she's caught in the future when she doesn't have eggs, the fishermen know that she can breed and she can't be kept. Any fisherman that catches her will see the notch, let her go. She's also, if you notice, got a little barnacle growing in the corner of her knuckle. There. Hang on. It's okay, sweetheart. There she goes. There's another one, right full of eggs. Fresh eggs. She just pushed them out. She's got no notch. V-notch number 2 for the day. Some days we can do upwards of 40, 50, 60 V-notches in one day. Today's pretty slow because we're not catching hardly anything. The fun is halfway through the day. Whoop. We got a nice buck, big old male, 2 or 3 pounder. It's a select. This is our measure. You can see the shortest measure is 3 1/4. If they're under 3 1/4, we gotta let them go. They're protected. If they're over 5 inches, we also gotta let them go. They're protected. But if they're over 4 inches, they pay a higher price. So this one should be perfect. It's in between those 2 notches. That's a high-paying lobster. I think the price for them is like $13, $14 a pound right now. So that's a $35, $40 lobster. Nice one. One of few. I don't think he's quite going to pay the fuel bill today. Here's a short one. Show you how the short side of the measure works. That's 3 1/4. Goes down over its back. That one's going to go back to grow up. Catch him next year. We got 125 traps left to haul. Then we got to load the ones on that have no runners on them, that the boars cleaned them all off. We're going to bring those home with us and do some maintenance on them. These are actually some of our oldest traps in the ocean. These runners have actually held up pretty good. These traps are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 years old. We usually try to buy at least 100 each year. We fish 800 traps, so we rotate out at least 100 each year. Some years we'll do 200. These ones are due to get rotated out this spring. We got 100 new traps coming. We'll take these ones up and switch them out. But you can actually see where the boars have started to eat the inside of this runner. It took them 8 years to get that little bit, so that's pretty good. Pressure treated or oak would not last anywhere near that long. The traps, back when we bought these were $70, $80 a trap. After COVID, they're now like $170, $80 a trap. The price of traps have gone up tremendously. To set 100 new traps is pretty expensive. These tags are actually how you can tell how old the trap is. Every year we get a new colored tag. That way the Marine Patrol knows that we're not fishing over a limit. We only get 800 tags each year. Each year is a different color. So you can see we got 8 tags in this one. This trap is ready to be retired. We'll sell them to some kids that are starting out at a discounted price. They'll patch them up, fix them up, and get their retirement life. There's another one, V-notch number 3. Brand new eggs. Horn dog, just like the redfish, they got horns. And when they poke you, it hurts for a long time. When you throw them, if you throw them hard enough at Keith's forehead, this will stick right in. Oh, there's a beauty.
Look at that cocker.
That's a keeper or not?
I hope so.
Over his eyes. We taking bets? I think he's over. Over by about 1/4 of an inch. About 5 1/4. We get them quite a lot bigger than this. Lobsters actually get extremely large, but they can't fit in our traps. So the biggest ones we catch are about 10, 12 pounds, but they've been caught 20, 25, 30 pounds in drags. What's the world record? Like 40, 50 pounds, 5 feet long. We've never seen anything like that because they can't fit in our traps. We have no way to catch them, but that's a little oversized. He hasn't shed in a really long time. You can tell by underneath his claws how black they are. The meat, if you were to eat him, in places they can keep these lobsters. Canada's allowed to keep them, but the flavor isn't nearly as good if you tried it, compared it to a fresh shedder. This is actually what kills them eventually. They could live forever if they could continue shedding, but eventually they get so old they don't have enough energy to shed. They can't get out of their shells, and they grow inside of them, and they end up smothering inside of their shell. You can see if you compare underneath the claws of this one how orange they are. This one would be a lot better eating. This one's not a shedder, but it's softer. It shed within the last few months. Here's a female that doesn't have eggs, but she does have a notch. Somebody caught her at some point in the past, and they gave her a notch. So we know that she's capable of reproducing. Even though she's big enough to keep, we can't keep her. We gotta let her go. Here's another one that we just caught that has a fresher notch. Somebody gave that one to her within the past year, since she last shed. She's actually got eggs. Over time, you can see that one was kind of faint. Over time, it'll disappear with each shed. It takes 2 or 3 sheds to lose that one, so we'll freshen them up in between sheds so that way they survive. Good. This is the last one. We're setting out for the day. Then we're going to hook on to these next 50, load them on, bring them in, fix the runners on them. You can see this runner is chewed off right here. They ate the end of it right off, and this is what's left of this one. See where they've been inside of it chewing. Right here. Nice runners. Look at what they've done to this trap. This is a $200 trap, and it's supposed to have 2 wood runners that go the length of the bottom that make handling the traps easier on the rail. When they break like this, it's a nightmare because they get stuck on the rail. When you try to land them, you try to handle them, move them, it's miserable. They've completely ruined this trap. So with the runners missing off the trap takes a lot more damage from the bottom when it lands on the ledges or when it hits the boats. These are what are supposed to take the brunt of the damage on the traps. You can see the traps are taking a lot of damage. It's destroying the trap. Not to mention the loss in time. Now we got to take all these traps up. We got to load them all on the boat. We got to bring them all home and put new runners on them and fix them. So it's costing, by the time you factor everything in and the damage of the traps and the cost of the new expensive material runners, looking upwards of 10 grand. There's punch tail number 5. Oh, we need some herring, Cody. There's another one. We had 2. Oh, this one's already got a notch, but she's got a couple barnacles. Yep. 2. She didn't get a notch, but Cody already brought the herring up, so can't waste it. Here comes the last one. Is that runner half on? There you go. What a nightmare. Brand new trap. So overall, a pretty boring day. This is actually what a lot of days are like on the water, especially this time of year. The content that you guys watch gives you guys a false impression of how exciting and how much interesting stuff that we catch because I only share the cool stuff. Today was a pretty standard, typical day, especially in the winter. We have a lot of maintenance to do on the traps and maintenance to do all over the place. Stuff sitting through the winter, getting ready for spring. We got a lot of work ahead of us the next few months. So we're going to bring them in, we're fixing the traps back up, then we're going to put them back on the boat, bring them back out. So rinse and repeat for the next month. Get things situated and ready for spring when we start hauling more.